Yeah, feeling good. We've gotten a lot of work, a lot of great situational work. We had some epic overtime a couple of days ago in the Coliseum, which was great. Kind of played out in a pretty cool fashion. Yeah, a lot of guys making, I think, some big strides, really improving. Position battles ongoing. This is kind of that last big stretch right now, fall camp, where these last these last four practices before we start to get into mock game week are super important for us. From players continue to improve and really putting their best foot forward. We're trying to work a few different lineups and some guys in some different positions, or playing just different guys next to one another here in this last week. And it'll be a big week for our evaluation as a staff as we start to decide what these depth charts are going to look like here, at least for the first game, and as you start to transition into that prep. So, but now we're practicing hard, practicing well. It's been pretty competitive in terms of just back and forth. It's not really like one side just bowling over the other. It's there's some resistance at all levels right now, which is good.
Any position battles in particular that are especially close right now?
Well, I think how D-line plays out, especially the interior. The D-line, I think, will be kind of interesting to see. We've had a couple of those guys that have been limited at different points. They're all healthy and able to go now, but so seeing more of those guys here at the end, kind of all of them, is going to, I think, be key. Certainly kind of excited to see how the linebacker depth shakes out. I think Dez and Gentry have look like a 1 and 2 linebacker right now, and then after that the depth is good, the talent's good. Like, all these guys have flashed, so we're starting to have to make some decisions and prioritize reps that way. So I'm very excited to see how that plays out. Certainly still some battles on the O-line, certainly some battles at receiver right now. I mean, there's quite a few, actually. And it's, at times here, it's been, you're trying to figure it out because you're not sure if you got quite enough in the tank. I don't really feel that at these positions. It's more just sifting through how you're going to play guys, how you're going to rotate them, who's going to play and what, personnel, and then just seeing who's playing the most consistent.
What are you seeing from the punt return spot? How do you balance Mekhi Levin's importance as a receiver when making that decision?
Punt return is one of the most important things on the field. So there's nothing that anybody would do that would keep us from playing them at punt return. So that's just one of those priority spots. So we've worked him a lot. He's very natural with it. So hard to imagine him not factoring in there. I think Zach will factor in there as well. Those would probably be our top two right now. But both those guys have had some work at it, and we were able, the way we practice, to work a lot of different situations and put them in that. They both caught a lot throughout the summer, and they both handled it well, both from catching it and just there's just a lot of decision making, with a punt returner, and that's maybe one of the most important job. They're both good. They're both going to be able to run with the ball once they catch it, but it's obviously fielding it, making those critical decisions of when do I catch it, when do I not catch it, when do I fair catch it, that we've been working on, and they've handled well so far.
Is there any, in all your years of doing this, is there one thing that you look at when you're at this point of camp that lets you know we're on schedule where I feel like we should be as a collective, as a team?
College football is the toughest one. I've said it before. We don't get scrimmages. We don't get preseason games. And on high school, you get to scrimmage somebody else. NFL, obviously, you get some preseason games, and you get joint practices too. So ours is the toughest to figure out. I think one thing I really look for is just the competitive maturity of a team. And when you get in here to practice 12 and 13, is the juice and the energy and the hunger to get better and the competitiveness, does it still feel like the first day? All right, because however many football teams there are, everybody's excited on day one. Everybody's excited the first day in pads. It's the teams that can maintain that when they're tired, when they're sore, when you've gone through a lot of practices, that you come out here every day with that mindset. And typically the teams I've been around have been the best teams, and so we've pushed our guys to do that, and so far there's been a lot of competitive energy on this field.
Lincoln, when you look at the recruiting success, are there elements to that blueprint, game plan, whatever you want to call it, you found you maybe want to lean into more, emphasize more in the coming cycles?
I think I just think it's an evolution. I think we're at a point now where we can recruit like that. I don't believe that strategy was given all the factors we've talked about for a long time here, so I'm not going to rehash them all. But I don't believe that strategy would have worked very well in the beginning. It wasn't, the pieces were not in place to recruit like we're recruiting now. And so that's why all this work has been done. The investments have been made in a lot of different areas, and I think people have seen proof. And now, now it just goes, and it's fun to be at a point where you feel like you're doing it the way that you want to do it, but more importantly that we're equipped to do that we actually have the tools to get that done. And so I think this is just the beginning, and like any part of our program, we expect that part to continue to grow and get better as well.
There's walk-on tryouts August 24th. You've talked about the shrinking roster sizes. Could this realistically be like the last walk-on tryout? Have you kind of thought about that?
It in some ways it could. They're going to become less common. Obviously reducing these roster sizes, reducing these numbers, there's just not going to be as many left, and people have to decide, are you going to recruit them, or are you actually going to hold tryouts and bring current students from your campus on and give them that opportunity. So yeah, it'll be an interesting strategy for us and everybody else. Walk-ons here is a getting really good ones is a unique challenge, because it's obviously it's hard to get in school here, and going to school at USC is not cheap. And so we're fortunate. We got some great ones, but this tryout upcoming will be important just to get a few extra guys here to go through the fall.
17 days away. Anything from Jaden where you feel it needs to improve, or are you pretty good with where he is right now?
He's practiced really well. I mean, he's practicing at a high level. I mean, we're pretty picky, so there's always, he could go 30 for 30 for 500 yards and 8 touchdowns, and we'd find a bunch of stuff wrong with it. So I mean, that's just it's not always result oriented. It's just more continuing to improve his grasp, the decision making. I think one of the big things right now for him is learning our guys, especially some of our new guys, that weren't with us last year, and getting on the same page and getting a feel for how they set up routes and how you're going to attack different coverages with different throws. But he's practicing at a high level. There's not anything right now that he's not doing well. But yeah, just like everybody out here, we want him to keep growing and keep getting better.
Thank you, Coach Riley.
Thanks.